I used to live on 1200 calories a day, thinking that that was the only way to lose fat, the only way to maintain the fat that you may lose eating such little food. But actually it just completely wrecked my energy, my metabolism, how I felt day to day, and took away so much from my actual life and my freedom, more importantly. Now I eat over 2000 calories a day. I feel stronger than ever. My body's actually leaner. Let me show you exactly what that looks like. So I'm gonna do a full day of eating and how I've also reverse dieted. So I did a bodybuilding competition where I lost around 10 kg in body weight and I got down to my leanest position, and it's actually been quite a complex scenario where I actually found that even at a lighter body weight, like my lightest that I've ever been since I was about 11 years old, I actually was not leaner, as in like I was carrying a lot of body fat and inflammation around my midsection, and I'm actually much healthier, happier, more shapely at a higher body weight, and I'm so much happier and I have an actual life. So I feel like this is an important one to dive into in this video because I hear it day to day in my DMs on Instagram from other women who are sharing their struggles, feeling like, oh my God, whenever I eat more than 1500 calories, I gain weight. And I want to also explain why this is and how limiting it can be and how expansive your life can be when you get out of this cycle. And it is so possible because if I've done it, you can absolutely do it as well. Like, don't feel like you need to live miserably and like you're having to watch absolutely everything you eat every single day of your life. Like, it's draining, and I feel like it's got an expiry date as well. Like, you get to a point, which is important to get to, where you're just like, surely there's more than this. Like, I can't just constantly having to limit my food and feel like I'm restricting 24/7. So first thing first is digestion and actual gut health. So this has been one of the biggest changes that I've made. So throughout my body recomposition journey and also reverse dieting. So reverse dieting is a process where you gradually increase your calories. So say if you've been on a lower end for a big amount of times, or if you've just gone through something where you've eaten less, like if you've gone through heartbreak, that's usually quite a common one, and you're wanting to repair your metabolism if you've been eating less, and also adapting over time, because it's quite a lot, isn't it? Sometimes say if you've been eating a small amount of food per day to then jump up to, I don't know, 2500 calories, it's a lot for your actual digestion. So that's been the first thing that I changed when healing my relationship with food. So prioritizing gut health, starting with glutamine. I've just got lukewarm water. I'm going through a stage at the minute. I actually prefer like lukewarm water over cold water, and I think I'd got that from a Chinese medicine practitioner actually. Half of a lemon. This is a really easy lemon squeezy. I just do half. I think I overdid lemon, which is obviously acidic. And then I take my straw to protect my tooth. This is something that I've been keeping consistent, and if you wake up feeling bloated, puffy, and almost like you've still got the food from last night on your stomach, do you know what I mean by that feeling? You wake up bloated. It's so frustrating feeling like that because it affects how you start your day, how you feel. Like, I found myself when I was in that constant state, I was trying to accept that I didn't feel great and I didn't look great, so I was changing how I dressed, and I thought, oh, is it fat gain? But actually a lot of the time it can be just simple things, eating foods that actually agree with you and don't cause a lot of inflammation. And so the combination of glutamine and lemon water is that the acidity of lemon juice wakes up your digestive system by helping stimulate bile production, which helps digest fats later in the day. Also, lemon water is hydrating. Rather than going straight to your coffee machine, I think this is just much better to start with because coffee is really dehydrating. When we work on repairing our gut lining, that means that our actual digestion of other foods is going to be way better. So actually absorbing nutrients, because you can be eating really, really healthy, and if you've still got a lot of food in there that's causing irritation, it's going to be actually difficult to digest that food. So that is why we want to actually work on our gut health. And it's not about like a greens powder that's going to solve all your problems, but just looking at what you are putting into your body as well and understanding what it's doing for you. Then breakfast. I've had the same thing every single day for God knows how long. Now, I know oats don't work for everyone, but they work for me. And this is everything, knowing your body, because someone's always going to have something to say about oats spiking your blood sugar, but if you're not eating any carbs at all and you're not having any regularity with your macro split, which is what kept me stuck, because I would try to cut out carbs and then I would be hungry, I would have the worst training sessions because I didn't have any flipping energy. So making a breakfast and a pre-workout meal that really works for your goals, and I've kept this consistent. You have days where you're like, oh, maybe I don't need the carbs, or if you've had something carb heavy the night before, but just reframing that and like what your long-term goal is, which is health, happiness, and being sexy. No, I'm joking. You know, just thinking, right, if I start with these eating habits that have kept me stuck for how long, like, please tell me, how are those habits going for you right now? Like, you wouldn't be clicking on this video if they were serving you, or if you feel like you were getting your dream body. Like, I was my leanest that I've ever been. I've competed on a stage, got down to a very low body fat, and I had oats every single day. So whenever I have thoughts like that come in now, or if you're having thoughts like, yeah, I don't need carbs for breakfast, I just need an omelette, an egg white omelette, just take that as your reminder, like, it's not the way, because you end up hungrier later, and then whenever you do start eating carbs again, you're just going to blow up because your body's not used to it, or you're gonna have a funny reaction. Whereas if you can have a balance with protein, carbs and fats, I think how much more realistic that is in the long term. So I have 50 grams of oats, no stingy 30 grams, okay? I know you're stinging out, because I definitely was when I tried my low calorie thing. So I just add water, generous amount of water for the consistency. And then my current obsession is dark sweet cherries. Like, I could live off these things. So we're making my cookie dough oats with cherries. So what I do is, obviously I cook my oats and then I mix this in so it cools down the actual oats, and then it means that when I add my protein powder, it doesn't go bitty. So I'm using salted caramel protein, my absolute fave. So that's what the consistency is looking like. I don't always get 85%, but I've been trying to go for a dark chocolate. This has less sugar in, which helps obviously with blood sugar balance and more fat content, but I do usually get 75. I top this on whilst it's still hot, so it goes all melty. Drizzly peanut butter. And this has been a big change, which is always add mixed seeds of some sort. Literally just put them on the top. So this is a mixture of flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and sunflower seeds. So flax and pumpkin are really good for your follicular phase because they're rich in omega-3s and zinc, so that helps with estrogen and supporting your egg health. Then sesame and sunflower seeds are really good in your luteal phase. They're high in selenium and vitamin E, which supports progesterone production and also reduces PMS symptoms. So even if you're not seed cycling, just having a mix daily really helps regulate estrogen and progesterone naturally. So the macro split of the oats, oh, they were so nice, by the way, honestly, I just don't know why I could never get bored of that, is 29 grams of protein, 19 grams of fat, 44 grams of carbs. And I just love that before a training session, something carb focused, like you're gonna get way more out of your actual sessions. I never train fasted. That is something that I used to do, and I'd feel really flat. I train way better. And also when your digestion's on point, like I used to have this thing in my head that was really weird. Wait, let me check if I've not got chocolate around my mouth. Yeah, I'd have this really weird mindset where I would not like to eat before doing anything because I felt like my belly expanded, when that wasn't even fat. It was just that my gut health was not in the best place. So eating more can really help with healing that relationship just with yourself. On a deeper note, I know what it feels like to fear food, especially when you're in a place where like you might have, say, achieved fat loss, but you're in this boat where you're like, okay, I don't feel like I can actually eat much food. And what you can do in this scenario is reverse diet. So this is where you gradually increase your calories and you put on lean muscle tissue at the same time. So following a structured workout program where you're progressively overloading, which basically looks like increasing your reps, your weight, so that you can then put on lean muscle tissue, which is going to create a more sculpted physique because you can sculpt your body in ways, put on lean muscle tissue, improve your actual metabolism. So at a rest, you're burning more calories, which means you're also eating more calories because you're training, you're more consistent, and you're training in a way that's structured so that you can actually recover. And that's going to help with your sleep, everything, absolutely everything. And then also maintaining some sort of cardio routine. So that could just be a daily step goal from, say, what you were doing. Because what I think can happen is you can lose a lot of weight by doing things in a bit of an unrealistic way. And obviously what's going to happen if you stop all those habits is you will put on the weight. So it's about creating sustainable fat loss, which is why you do it in a gradual way. You don't want to go into drastic fat loss because usually it's going to be a drastic weight gain journey as well. But weight gain isn't something to be feared. For example, I've reverse dieted my way up to over 2,000 calories a day. Every day is slightly different, and in that time I've put on lean muscle tissue, and I prefer myself in this shape, this weight, because it means that I can eat a lot more food. I don't have to worry about eating out. Like, what I did find was when I was in a smaller physique, I actually was holding on to more body fat and water retention in areas because my health wasn't in a good place. Like, my hormones weren't balanced. So for example, my abs were not visible whatsoever, even though I was at a lighter body weight, and I felt less feminine. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel that good. Whereas since my hormones have been regulated, I've actually had a regular period, which is your key indication of health. And like, what are we without our health, you know? Like, that's something to bear in mind. And when you are stuck on, say, 1500 calories, you're gonna feel constantly hungry, constantly stuck, and like, no one really understands, because I'm not saying that you want to go and put on a load of weight by increasing your calories, and why it should be done gradually. Like, you don't want to jump straight into a big surplus, but something obviously needs to change if you are feeling that way. And what you eat is what's going to make the biggest difference. So rather than just focusing on a certain amount of calories, like, calories determine what your body weight is, macros determine how your body looks. So increasing your protein is going to be the biggest game changer, because I guarantee you're probably not actually eating enough protein, especially not consistently, because it's difficult, isn't it? Especially when you're busy, and portion sizes we get given, like, say if you buy a sandwich or a salad, it is literally the tiniest slither of actual meat or protein. And this is exactly why I've put together my top 50 recipes ebook. In this recipe ebook, these are the exact recipes that have helped me heal my relationship with food, actually get leaner and stronger, and balance out my hormones. I've managed to get my period back with these recipes, and also just feel more confident from the inside out and feel so much better. Like, I've managed to put on weight, not in a way that I feel like just goes off to my midsection, for example, or certain areas. Like, I've managed to sculpt my physique, grow a set of glutes, and this is coming from the girl with a pancake butt, a natural pancake butt. Like, if I don't train consistently, my glutes disappear. If you're also someone who feels like you've never had much confidence, like, I used to really struggle with even just walking in front of someone. Like, I remember my first relationship, I would not walk in front of him if I was wearing jeans. I'd always have something covering me because I didn't like my bottom, and that goes back quite deep rooted. And I was like, no, I want to change that. Like, I'm all for training for performance and feeling good, but I also think you want to feel confident in your skin. You want to feel good naked and own that as well, you know, like, and that takes work as well, which is why inside the Fluence Club we do a lot of mindset work, and we also get specialists on to unpick things on a deeper level, which is what is the most important thing, so that you can actually keep the habits that you're trying to build, rather than just sort of like have a few days of feeling really good. And with the recipe ebook too, it's all in one place, so that you can get recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner. You have your go-tos that quickly become staples that you can just jump to each day and become second nature, rather than thinking, oh, have I even got this in the cupboards? Like, you'll most likely have every single one of these ingredients in your actual cupboard. You'll be able to get early access and a 10% discount code from the 1st of November, so that'll be in the top line of this video's description, and I just feel like it's going to really help you in a lot of ways. I'm going to make a turkey crunch wrap. I have basically been making a buffalo chicken wrap most days. You know them buffalo chicken wings? Kind of like that, but turkey edition. Really nice and lean. Like, turkey mince is super lean as a protein, and it's so quick. Like, you can whip this up in less than 10 minutes, which we love. Like, I just love anything quick like this, and it's crispy, cheesy, exactly what I'm fancying. Okay, 150 grams of turkey mince, some smoked paprika, some onion granules and garlic. I'm using these gluten-free sweet potato wraps, which are so nice. So one thing I have tried to reduce, I don't totally eat gluten-free, but I just try where I can not to have as much, and I just feel a lot better, and I really like these wraps. And then I'm just gonna make a Greek yogurt type buffalo sauce. So about 50 or 60 grams Greek yogurt, a little bit of buffalo sauce. You could also use like a mayo or something. And then just on this half, I put a bit of mushroom in with the turkey mince, by the way. A little bit of lettuce. Tomato, cheese. Sensational. And then just fold them. Make sure they're kind of even, like flattened. Like that. And then into the frying pan. I love that sound. Ow! Ooh, these are thick. Thick. Okay. Why do I use my fingers? I honestly don't know. So I made it with chicken yesterday, but I feel like turkey might go better with these, but I burnt them yesterday. Fajitas, but so much nicer. Creamy, cheesy. This has been one of my go-to dinners lately, my salmon bowl that just hits all the cravings and is insane macros, perfect balance of protein, carbs and healthy fats, and just tastes so good. You know, you just have simple meals that just hit different, especially when you air fry the salmon till it's crispy on top and combine with some fluffy rice. I absolutely love jasmine rice. You can also go and do your everything shower or whatever whilst that is in. Then here is my famous cookie dough protein bowl, which the Greek yogurt is the main thing here. You need a thick Greek yogurt. This is what makes the difference, honestly. Don't be using natural yogurt or any sort of watery yogurt. And then a generous amount of protein. I quite like adding salted caramel protein. Make sure you've got a nice one. I use vegan and I just find that's easier to digest. And then some drizzly peanut butter. Mix that all together. And if you are someone who likes that cookie dough that is just full of so much sugar, then this is a really nice swap. And then I've had such a sweet tooth recently, so I added some dates in there. And then plating up my dinner, so just microwaved some rice. I try and microwave that out of the plastic and then literally just pour this in. Not the most aesthetic of meals, but it's just simple, isn't it? Quick, delish. Added some avocado, and just having healthy fats has really helped with my hormone balance, especially whilst getting my period back. That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you've got some really nice recipe inspo from this one, and I hope you've enjoyed this one and taken some value from it. It's a process, reversing your calories and also doing it in a nice gradual way, so take it step by step. You've absolutely got this. And also I've got my ebook launching super soon, so 17th of November that will be available, and the early discount will be available from the 1st of November. That's got 50 brand new recipes, all of which have really helped throughout this whole process, and also what I've used today. So quick to make. Like I say, you've probably got a lot of the ingredients already in the fridge, which is ideal, isn't it? But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Lots and lots of love.